Right, good afternoon, Year 5. I'll be doing this week's book, storytime book. And what I've decided to read you are the Greek myths. Now, this is a book I've borrowed from Year 6 and recommended by Year 6. So let's begin, shall we? It's a very short story called In the Beginning and Pandora's Box. At the very beginning, the gods ruled over an empty world. From their home on Mount Olympus, where they lived in halls of sunlight and cloud, they looked out over oceans and islands, woodland and hill. But nothing moved in the landscape, because there were no animals or birds or people. Zeus, the mighty king of the gods, gave Prometheus and his brother Epitheus the task of making living creatures, and he sent them down to live on earth. Epitheus made turtles and gave them shells. He made horses and gave them tails and manes. He made ant-eaters and gave them long noses and longer tongues. He made birds and gave them the gift of flight. But although Epitheus was a wonderful craftsman, he was not nearly as clever as his brother. So Prometheus watched over his brother's work, and when all the animals and birds, insects and fishes were made, it was Prometheus who made the very last creature of all. Do you know who it was? He took soil, he mixed it into mud, and out of that he moulded first man. I'll make him just like us gods. 2 legs, 2 arms, upright, not crawling on all fours. All the other beasts spend their days looking at the ground, but man will look at the stars. When he had finished, Prometheus was very proud of what he had made. But when it came to giving man a gift, there was nothing left to give. Give them a tail, said Epitheus. But all the tails had gone. Give him a trunk, Epitheus suggested. But the elephant already had that. Give him fur, said Epitheus. But all the fur had been used up. Suddenly, Prometheus exclaimed, I know what to give him. He climbed up to heaven, up as high as the fiery chariot of the sun. And from the rim of its bright wheel, he stole one tiny sliver of fire. It was such a very small flame that he was able to hide it inside a stalk of grass and hurry back to the earth without any of the gods seeing what he was up to. But the secret could not be kept for too long. Next time Zeus looked down from Mount Olympus, he saw something glimmering red and yellow under a column of grey smoke. Prometheus, what have you done? You've given the secret of fire to those mudmen, bad enough that you make them look like gods. Now you go sharing our belongings with them? So, you put your little mud people before us, do you? I'll make you sorry you ever made them. I'll make you sorry you were ever made yourself. And he tied Prometheus to a cliff and sent eagles to peck at him all day long. You or I would have died, but the gods can never die. Prometheus knew that the pain would never end, that the eagles would never stop, and that his chains would never break. A terrible hopelessness tore at his heart and hurt him more than the eagles could ever do. Zeus was just as angry with man for accepting the great gift of fire. But you would never have thought so. He was busy making him another wonderful present. With the help of the other gods, he shaped first woman. Venus gave her beauty. Mercury gave her a clever tongue. Apollo taught her how to play sweet music. Finally, Zeus draped a veil over her lovely head and named her Pandora. Then, with a grin on his face, he sent for Epictetus, who was not quite clever enough to suspect a trick. "Here's a bride for you, Epictetus, a reward for all your hard work making the animals. And here's a wedding present for you both, but whatever you do, don't open it." The wedding present was a wooden chest, bolted and padlocked, and bound with bands of iron. When he reached his home at the foot of Mount Olympus, Epictetus set the chest down in a dark corner, covered it with a blanket, and put it out of his mind. After all, with Pandora for a bride, what more could a man possibly want? In those days, the world was a wonderful place to live. No one was sad. Nobody ever grew old or ill. And Epictetus married Pandora. She came to live in his house, and everything she wanted, he gave her. But sometimes, when she caught sight of the chest, Pandora would say, "What a strange wedding present. Why can't we open it?" "Never mind why. Remember, you must never touch it," Epictetus would reply sharply. "Not touch it at all. Do you hear?" "Of course I won't touch it. It's only an old chest. What do I want with an old chest? What do you think is inside?" "Never mind what's inside. Put it out of your mind." And Pandora did try. She really did. But one day, when Epictetus was out, she just could not forget about the chest. And somehow, she found herself standing right beside it. Now I'm going to stop the story here. I do wonder what's going to happen next.